Karen said it's not letting her in.
That's weird.
She emailed.
Okay. I don't know. I'm so confused because then it says we'll spot check your session, but we'll watch all your summary so it should reflect what took place in the discussion. You might consider selecting a group leader who will keep track of time and ensure the discussion is staying on target. I'm so confused because it doesn't say discuss those questions below until the very bottom. But there's a whole bunch of questions.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. Okay. I feel like every week we're like, what are we doing? How do we do this? Okay, I invited Karen. Let's see if she gets it this time.
How was your guys' Valentine's Day?
It was good.
That's good. I'm single, so we did a roommate thing.
You know what? We don't even. I think Valentine's Days should just be celebrating love in general and not romance.
Yeah, I agree. So we just like ordered Chinese food and watched a movie and had ice cream. So it was fun.
Yeah, I bet that does sound like fun.
Yeah.
I remember doing that when I was single and I loved it. I thought it was more fun than having a date. But that was just
Yeah.
Yeah, my friend, she recently broke up with her boyfriend and she like still is obsessed with Valentine's Day and she went and volunteered at an old folks home and like stayed up late and made Valentines for her sisters and just like did stuff all day long and just for other people. And I'm like, that's how it should be.
Yeah, I completely agree.
That's really fun.
Yeah, we get we do the same thing every year. We do a heart-shaped pizza and like a candlelight dinner with all of our kids.
Mm-hmm.
We each get a little gift. Usually I get them like a book or something. This year I got him a book and a small toy.
Nice.
Cool.
My dad's cute. He always sends us flowers, like no matter where we are. And that's like a cute no. And he's not.
Yeah, I like Valentine's Day when it's more like that than like, oh, you don't have a date? You don't have a boyfriend? That's sad.
Yeah. And also we had devotional here on campus and Elder Anderson came. So it's really neat to see him and his wife come and speak to us.
That devotional was so good.
Mm-hmm.
I loved it. My husband couldn't go because he had work, and I was like, you need to listen to it. I'll listen to it again.
I miss that about living there, just going to see them talk.
Yeah.
Those were like the only ones I ever intended to go to, though. I never went to the other devotionals.
It just depends on what's going on for me, but yeah.
Well, the first one I went to, I got married before I went there. And I think the first 3 or 4 that I went to, like my husband and I were gonna go and like make an effort to go and see him. And then like the first 3 or 4 that we went to, it was about getting married.
Mm-hmm.
So we're like, okay, this is silly. I don't know why we're here.
Yeah. Karen sent her email. Did you send it to her?
I did. I don't know if she's gotten it yet, but I did send it to her though. Oh, whoops, I didn't copy it all. That would have done it. Sorry. I left out the K in her name. Copied it wrong. Hopefully she gets it now.
Have fun at the tree.
Janelle, where do you live?
I'm in Rexburg now.
Oh, like what complex?
Oh, I live at Heritage Apartments.
Oh, okay.
By the Ice Center a little bit and the Berg.
Yeah, that's a good location.
Yeah, I like it a lot here.
Good.
It's changed so much since I lived there.
Yeah.
Okay, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. Sorry about that. I don't know what the problem is.
Oh, it's fine. And then I accidentally copied your name wrong when I was trying to invite you, so that's why it took even longer.
Oh,
So, Karen, did you understand like what questions we were supposed to answer? We were talking about that, and we weren't sure if we were supposed to answer all of them or just the bottom two. What was your idea on that?
I thought we were
Good.
supposed to answer them all.
You thought
It
that?
says choose one that you are personally interested in understanding, then research the following. I don't know. Maybe the
The only
bottom
reason I thought it was the bottom two is because it says specifically the bottom two to discuss it.
Yeah. Okay.
So I don't know, but I don't want to get like docked points either.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we will. Because I
I don't
think we were
think so
supposed to research something kind of on our own. I mean, we can't discuss in 20 minutes what everybody researched.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's 20 minutes each person.
My fear is that though, like, because we tend to discuss very quickly, and I told the girls this while we were waiting, we'll finish these two questions in like 2 minutes. We're not big duckers, which is fine by me. I don't care, but
I'm just grateful this group doesn't have any babies sitting on their laps crying.
oh, no, mine are all in bed.
Had groups where people will sit with a baby on their lap and the baby cries the whole time and you can't hear anything but the baby crying.
Yeah, I've had those too.
I mean, I get it, but it's like, oh my gosh, I can't hear.
Yeah, that's why I said I can't do any later than well, I can't be way late, but I can't be really early either. It's got to be 8 or 9 my time, which is 6 or 7 your guys' time, because I don't want that issue happening.
Yeah.
And my kids don't necessarily cry; they just want to show off for the people who are in the camera.
Yeah, that's fine too.
So, well, so are we going to answer all of them, or are we just answering the two?
We
Either
can do
way.
them all quickly if you want. I don't care, whatever you guys want to do.
Well, maybe we could pick one person's thing they researched and then discuss that instead of like each person they researched, and then the bottom two.
Okay, I'll be straight up and honest that I didn't research anything because I fell asleep this afternoon. And then my husband was gone all night, so I didn't have time to do the research part.
Oh, you're fine.
Okay.
No problem. I mean, I can share what I thought of. I didn't do like a ton of research on it really, but I liked in his talk when he said no one washes a rental car and that you take ownership of what you own or take care of what you own.
Mhm.
And so just the idea that people sometimes like become like kind of lazy and casual in their responsibilities because they feel like they'll be taken care of by the government, different like policies and like services. And so I just thought of like how that's become kind of a an issue, I think, in society, is that people just think that they'll, be entitled to certain, government aid. So that's one thing that I kind of thought of from that quote that he had
You
said.
mean like food stamps, welfare? Is that what you're meaning, or just like any
Yeah.
social
Mhm.
security, whatever?
Like any kind of those things, yeah. On my mission, there was a family that he was unemployed, the husband was unemployed,
Mhm.
and they like would get food stamps and everything, and also they're just really lazy and like had a big screen TV and all these video games and movies and stuff, so it like didn't quite match up. Like they should have been working harder to take care of their family and like provide for themselves rather than just kind of sit back and hang out in their house and watch movies all day. And so just like that inconsistency, and like they're getting this aid, but they really could be working harder to provide for themselves and their own needs.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. We've talked about that a lot in one of my other classes, and we said like some people, they have found like they don't want to get jobs because then they don't get the free money and they don't even try, and that we like talked about solutions to that and how like there should be like, because there are like places you can go that help you, like DI helps with like Deseret Industries helps with like job and like like courses on like how to build your resume and things like that.
Mhm.
The church is pretty on it.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too. And where we live, they just passed an ordinance where they've banned plastic bags, like grocery bags,
Are you in California?
sadly.
I've heard that all over California.
Well, they've done it to where, if you go to the grocery store, you have to pay for your bags if you don't take your own. So I don't like paying for bags, so I bought some plastic like at IKEA, and I just take them wherever I go. But when you go to the grocery store, if somebody gets WIC or food stamps or like that, they don't have to pay for their bags. They can get all the bags that they want for free.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so here they're already getting free food, or I look at it as food I'm paying for. I'm already buying them food, and then they ask you when you check out how many bags you want. And so, if you're paying for them, you're just jam packing those bags as full as you can get them. And then these welfare people that come in and get the handout, and they give them just all the bags that they need. They put one or two things in each bag. They've got 25 bags compared to my 3 for
Yeah.
the same amount of groceries.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I mean, I know that's kind of, crazy, but
No.
yeah, I've been thinking about that.
I am totally the odd duck out. I'm totally pro welfare, but that's just because I've had to be on it before. And I work with a lot of people who are on the system. But
And I think
I
it
think
has
more people
play.
actually use the system correctly than don't use the system correctly, personally.
Yeah.
And I think it has its place. And I'm glad that they do have a program. But I just like, especially here in California.
No, I can see where you're coming from. For sure. I think it's just how people use it as well. Like,
Yeah.
I've had friends that have been on it and they will buy like sirloin New York T-bone steak, whatever. And I'm like, really? I mean, I know you have food stamps. That's awesome. But I'm glad you have the assistance you need, but do you really need that?
Yeah. And that was my main thought, was just like people kind of abusing the system and the different benefits that they get. And that they just kind of will take the handouts and not always be working towards getting back on their own feet when they maybe could be doing more. And each case is different, of course. But
Yeah, each situation just depends.
Yeah.
so that was why I thought about the talk that he gave, and that was what I kind of researched a little bit.
That's interesting. Actually, one of them that comes to my mind is like, And obviously didn't do research on it, but it would be like, and I guess you could say it's kind of like the welfare is just like free birth control and things like, if we are not in charge, like if women keep saying like about abortions and things, that we're not responsible for their body, like it's their body, blah, 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 then we shouldn't be paying for things like birth control or abortions. You know, that's just what I thought. Like they feel entitled that they should have these things covered and paid for, but
Yeah,
I don't know.
I
Anyway.
agree with that. It reminds me of like the argument about people who choose to have like a sex change and how it's, you know, their personal private issue, but that like people are asked to pay for like through taxes. And the same thing with like abortion, like it's their personal private issue, but we're being asked to pay for it. And so like we shouldn't be having
Right.
to pay for people's personal choices like that.
Yeah, and if that's the case, then we should be able to have a say.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a prime example with the whole food stamps thing. Like Florida, I know, did it. Like people had a say, and they voted on as to whether they should do drug tests or not to be on the system, to be receiving benefits. But just things like that, like people should be in charge. Actually, drug testing ended up costing more money than just giving people food stamps. But you see my point. Like we're given the opportunity to establish the laws so that we feel like, okay, well, if we're gonna pay for birth control or abortions or whatever, then we should be able to have the right to put some ground rules on it.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
Anyway, let's see where. Okay, so the question was, do you agree with Dr. Will? According to the one thing you can do for your country is reserve a spacious portion of life for which your country is not responsible. Reflect on what you've learned and discuss this week and then respond to the following. Do you agree with Dr. Will? That's what the instructions are.
I think in a lot of ways I do agree with him. He had some valid points.
Mm-hmm.
What specifically?
You know, where he was talking about like where government, you know, they're so involved in like money and where it takes all the money to have them involved, where if they weren't involved, it would be less money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I heard the one thing that like stood out to me was that the government made Nevada a border state in which like of Mexico or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like
When it was like 160 miles from the border, yeah.
Yeah, and so they're just trying to get more money for that whole thing. And I think he's right. Like the government doesn't need to be in every detail of our lives.
I completely agree.
Yeah, me too.
And that is why I'm more libertarian than anything. I think that the reason why the government is so involved is because of things like welfare and, to be honest, like people want government to be in their lives because that's when they receive the help, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like
It
a
comes
lot of
with the cost.
what?
I said it comes with the cost. You know, somebody might want food stamps or whatever, but you're going to be subject to drug screenings or
Yeah.
whatever, you know.
Yeah, and kind of like the Obamacare, like everyone hated that, but then like I think, correct me if I'm wrong, like since I'm married, I can still be on my parents until I'm 26 with his, but then without it, if I was married, I wouldn't be on theirs, right?
That's like the only perk to Obamacare.
Yeah. I don't know much about it, but I just know that, and so, but I know
That is, yeah.
really upset about the whole thing, but then like they are happy about that. And so I don't know.
There's bits and pieces, yeah. Most of the time people are really upset because their premiums keep going up. So my husband and I, for example, we were paying $575 a month for our family to have insurance. And this last August, it went up like $300. So for my family to
Wow.
have medical insurance, it was like $850 a month.
Yes.
Thankfully, we're still students, so we could just get subsidized student insurance.
Mhm.
And then our kids are just on Medicaid because we can't afford to pay for it. And that's where people get mad with Obamacare because it costs a ton of money.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in the long run, which I haven't researched this is just me thinking, and I don't know that it's been in process long enough for anybody to know for sure. But when people don't have insurance and they don't go to the doctor, it ends up costing a lot of money when people have, a health crisis. And
Right.
it costs the government like a ton of money. Like if, somebody has a heart attack or something, that because they haven't gone to the doctor, they don't know they have heart disease.
Right.
I mean, and then there's always those factors of if they smoke or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I don't know. The Obamacare hasn't really affected me that much because we don't pay for our health care anyways. It's provided through my husband's employer and they pay it in full.
Mm-hmm.
But they had like my older kids, his where he works, they automatically cover our kids till they're 26 anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So that was in place before Obamacare, so it didn't really change. But it's been nice because my kids have been covered while they're in college and stuff, so it makes it nice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I have really mixed feelings on Obamacare. I don't think you should force somebody to have insurance, but I can see the benefit of it. I've always been pro insurance because I grew up, like when I was really little, I got really, really sick and I had to live at a hospital for like 3 months or something. And my parents had insurance. So they've always been very pro because I racked up like well over $1 million in medical bills. But because they had double insurance, they didn't pay anything.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I've always been like, you have insurance no matter what. Like it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
So it didn't affect me in that way. Like I didn't care if Obamacare was in or not. I was gonna have insurance.
Yeah.
Someone I know, he doesn't have health insurance right now, and when he paid his taxes, he had to pay a whole lot more because of that. And so
Yeah, they fine you.
he was never sick or anything, and he was bummed about it, but like he just couldn't afford it because his family situation. And
Yeah. Well, it's to the point like the major providers like United Healthcare, because the premiums have gone up so much, they've seen how ridiculous is. They've started paying like, I can't remember exactly what my husband said, but they've started paying the fee for people so that they can choose which should not have insurance and stuff, especially for college students who aren't really necessarily unhealthy. Like they just need a checkup here and there, like if they have a sinus infection. So they started like paying the fees and stuff so that they can keep their insurance lower cost.
that's cool.
Yeah.
But it's just interesting. I'm really pro. That's why I kind of like Trump in that aspect because there was a lot that he liked about Obamacare, but there was a lot he hated as well. And the stuff that he hates is the stuff that I hate about it.
Yeah. And it kind of reminds me too, like, there may be some people who just don't take care of their bodies and they chronically eat junk food all the time and they end up getting heart disease or having a heart attack or something and they're covered by Obamacare. And so they don't have like that ownership or that own care of their health, but other people have to, pay for their medical costs. And so it goes back to that first topic of like, no one watches a rental car. And so like having ownership over your own health and healthcare.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure like how
like
common that is to just like disregard your health and think, oh, I'll be taken care of by, tax dollars. But I'm sure it does happen sometimes.
Yeah. I think either way, though, your tax dollars are going to be paying for it. I think, in fact, Obamacare's cost more because those who couldn't afford it, like middle class, maybe lower middle class, they just didn't have insurance. Yeah, maybe they ended up, like the government ended up paying for it, but now they're all on Medicaid because they still can't afford insurance. So they just go to Medicaid because it's easier to be approved for Medicaid now.
Yeah.
Whereas before, like for an adult to be approved for Medicaid, you have to be dirt poor, like making next to nothing. And children, it's easy for children to get accepted, but it's a lot harder for adults. But now it's a lot easier for adults to be accepted into the program. And they have like different stages of Medicaid.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. I don't know. What part, I mean, this isn't a question. Maybe it isn't. What areas, oh, it is a question. In what areas do you personally feel the government should be involved and should not be involved in addressing your chosen threat to children and families? I think that, and this is just more people, I think the government is too involved in some aspects of parenting. Like I shouldn't, prime example, a couple weeks ago, we went to go to Papa Murphy's and I had just my children in the car and me. There was no one in the parking lot. I had pre-ordered the pizza and I just literally had to go in and pay for it quick. But I had to get all of my kids out and walk them inside I'm not kidding, I was in there for 2 minutes, if that. And then walk back out with them when it would have been just easier, especially when it's cold outside, to just turn the car off where it's still warm, lock the door so no one can get them, run in, pay for the pizza and run out. But I have to be in fear that some jerk is going to call DCS on me and I'm going to get audited by some case manager. And anyway, that's where I feel like they're a little too involved and it gets a little too much, but at the same time, they do save a lot of kids. So
Yeah. Somebody, I can't remember, somebody in our group said, was it you, Karen? Somebody, your neighbor broke their leg and then they had to like go through, or there's different people in my group, than this group.
Yeah, no, I don't think it was me.
Oh, well, anyway, it was like, along with that, it was a neighbor kid broke his leg because he fell out of the tree, and CPS came and they like had to meet with the family for like months after that because they didn't believe him because no one else was around to like see or something. But yeah, so like sometimes it can be too much.
yeah.
But then again, like how do they know? Like you got to keep the kids safe, but like breaking a leg, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, they just I feel like they're overly involved in some ways. Like they get upset, and this is like school teachers too. I know that I had a friend who was a teacher and they called DCS because a parent made their child walk to school and it was only like 2 blocks away. And they like got in big trouble for it. And it's like, for real? And the kid, and it wasn't like it was a little kindergartner. Like the kid was like 8 or 9.
Oh.
I'm like, I started walking to school when I was in 1st grade. So I just think that and I know it's people too, because people are super judgy, but I think they're way too overly involved they're too quick to judge and think that someone's being a bad parent. I guess that's the best way to
Yeah.
I can agree with that. Sorry, can you guys hear that dinging?
Yeah.
If I don't know how to turn that off, okay, sorry.
It kind of reminds me of the other week when we discussed like how a lot of times kids are given more power than the parents, and like
Yeah.
they're being allowed to choose like their religion or like to attend church or not, or like who to spend their time with. And so just like the fact that parents aren't being able to raise their kids as much as they used to, maybe like the kids have more power in some situations than the parents even do.
Yeah.
Which
I
is
also
really
feel like
sorry, go ahead.
government should, I was just thinking, something just sparked my brain. I also think they should kind of stay out of marriage. I mean, I don't care whoever gets married. I don't care if you're gay and you get married. That's just me. But I just had heard a new rule or a new law that was being proposed in Utah that they were going to increase the rate of licenses, like marriage licenses and stuff, by quite a bit of money. So it was going to be a lot more expensive to like even get married. And they were hoping that that would deter the effects of divorce. And they were also going to make it so you had to legally, like you couldn't get married unless you had received premarital counseling. And it's just like stuff like that. I'm like, that's wrong. Like, it's none of your business. If someone's going to get divorced, then that's their prerogative. Like, let them be. But you have no right to say, oh, you need counseling, or I'm going to charge you $500 for a marriage license.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of relates to the thread that I chose for like this semester. Mine is single parent homes. And I was trying to figure out how I could, think of ideas for the government to in some way try and prevent that. And I was having a hard time thinking of ideas because like you said, it's kind of none of their business to intervene in a marriage. So yeah, it's a good point.
That I don't know. I mean, not that I want people to be divorced. Like, I don't. That obviously makes in some families a lot worse. But
yeah.
Well, and I think the government kind of makes it to where people, can't afford to get married. And, like when you have, like, say, a single mom who's on, government assistance, and then she has a boyfriend. Well, if they get married, she loses that assistance.
right.
But they can live there and he can make, $1 million a year, but she still receives all her benefits.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, not only that,
so
you're going to have more issues with not broken homes, but you're going to have more issues with kids, I think, being in the system, because it's just more, there's no stability there.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
People aren't going to get married. They're going to just end up living together.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you already do a lot.
Yeah. I think that's what it'll just increase, like more single moms having kids and
Right.
anyway. Yeah, you're right. You're totally right. That they could either just keep their food stamps, or food stamps rate could go up because they're suddenly single and they have a kid and they don't have a way to support that kid.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like instant, here you go, here's your food stamps card.
Yeah.
You have a kid on board. What do you think that they should be involved in? I don't know. I do think they should be involved in taking kids away to a certain degree.
Mm-hmm.
I think everyone should go to school.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily college, but like they should be involved if like an 8-year-old's not going to school.
Yeah. I think in cases of abuse, school is a great one. I think that they should be involved in like roads and highways and stuff. That shouldn't be our job.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know enough about business or anything to be like, yeah, they shouldn't be involved in business, but they probably shouldn't be involved in business either.
Yeah, and listening to the talk thing on with that Dr. Will, according to him and some of the things he talked about, government should not be in business.
Yeah.
I don't think they should be. I mean, they make it too difficult for the little guys to make it. I mean, because you get big wigs like Walmart who have lobbyists and things that are paying them big money to push laws for them and stuff. I just don't think that should be allowed.
Yeah, because I know, which this isn't totally government related or whatever, but like our insurance company, we go to a pharmacy that's kind of like a family owned, just a little, mom and pop type business pharmacy, where our insurance they have an incentive. If you go to Costco and get your prescriptions, they're free. If you go to any other pharmacy, you pay a copayment.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
And
Yep.
I think that is so wrong. And I absolutely refuse to go to Costco because
But
I
just
feel
here-
like they're trying to force me to do something.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're
that's where
pushing other,
It's the American dream. Like,
yeah. And then they're pushing other people out of business, for the big guy.
yeah.
I don't like that.
Yeah, and then I walk into the pharmacy, 15 minutes later, I am on my way. I go to Costco, it's 15, 20 minutes before I even get to the counter to let them know what I need.
hmm
Yeah.
Then you have another 30-minute, at least a 30-minute wait on top of that.
With no place to sit.
Mhm.
No, that's totally what I mean. Like, they shouldn't be involved and have like the lobbyists who are, yeah. Anyway, I think I don't know. I don't know enough about government or politics to be like, yeah,
Yeah, same.
it gives me anxiety, and I just don't like talking, like reading about it, because then I'm like, we're all gonna die, and second coming's coming. So, anyway, we kind of talked about a lot. I don't know how we're gonna summarize that.
Yeah.
I can give it a shot.
Okay.
So tonight we talked about how the government should be involved with kids to a certain degree if they're being abused or if they're not going to school, but they shouldn't be involved in parenting issues or in marriages, or they shouldn't take away they shouldn't force us to do things like go to a certain pharmacy, and welfare is a good thing, but it needs to be regulated because some people abuse it. And we agree with Dr.
Perfect.
Will.
Good job, Maddie.
Hey.
Alrighty. So we'll see each other next week then.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Yep. Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.